I didn't have any horse background originally. I actually grew up on the northern beaches in Sydney and was probably more at home on a surfboard than a horse, but my grandparents had a couple of shares in little horses up the north coast. I used to spend time up there, as most kids do in their school holidays, and went to the stables and sort of fell in love with the game. And I was very small, nice and light, and had an idea to become a jockey, and that's sort of where it all started for me. And I took my first job with Dave Sweeney at Warwick Farm as an apprentice, and stayed there for probably 6 months and moved up to Port Macquarie and rode right through my apprenticeship with some success. I probably wasn't that good at it. I think being a jockey is a thing you can either do or you can't. I wasn't a natural rider, and I'm the first to admit that. I probably picked the wrong field, but what it did give me was a really good grounding, perhaps, into learning the work ethic that you need to become a trainer, which was my second job. To become or get to the level of having enough numbers to actually make money as a trainer is difficult, and I was no different. I started training at Port Macquarie when I was probably 20 years old, and certainly didn't have enough life experience, and that things were always going to be too difficult for me there. I left training for a couple of years and went and worked for my father in his earth moving business in Sydney, and went back to training up at the Gold Coast. And I steadily started to build numbers, but again, we did it very hard. There was a point in my life where I couldn't even afford to pay my power bill. We used to plug extension leads into the pool filter at the unit block where we were living, just so we could turn the fridges and freezers on at night. And look, that's no exception. I'd work in a Chinese restaurant at night to just get enough money to try to support the business. And look, training, or initially training, is a very tough industry to get into, and it's very hard. I met Gerald when he set up his stable at the Gold Coast. I was training there with a few horses, and he helped me with numbers to start with. I pre-trained a few horses for him just to keep my stable at a level where I could make enough money to make things work and make it viable. Look, he probably saved my life in the end, because I was the same as lots of people. I probably wasn't successful enough and couldn't build numbers to succeed or get to where I needed to be, and to go and run a stable of that size, and that a successful stable that he had was certainly something that helped me a lot. I could already train a horse when I went to work for Gerald, but he certainly showed me how to train big numbers and manage staff and manage nice horses, and that he's probably the person that's had the biggest impact on my career. We do run a big stable in comparison to most country stables. We're on the largish size, and it wasn't always that way though. We built this from the ground up. We came up here with 3 horses and got to a point where we started to get some success and build it. My wife Kira's been beside me the whole way. She's been very much a part of everything we've done. We've built these stables with our own hands pretty much. Everything you see we've put together from nothing. We've built a really good staff network. Our staff is second to none. They don't all come from racing backgrounds, but they certainly pick things up quickly. They're country, most of them country people that come from the local area, and they learn how to do things the way we like it done. They're kind to the horses. They love what they do. Certainly things are now at a spot because of the people that surround us, and Kira will be the first to say that as well. Between us, we've built a great business, and there's a lot of people involved that have contributed to that and got it to what it is now. You've only got to have a look around and understand why horses settle into this environment as well as they do, from the stables that we have in the open air to the track, and even the backdrop of our track is, when you're sitting up there watching your horses work at 6 in the morning as the sun comes up, it's a beautiful place to be. We've got the beach 15 minutes away. Our horses spend a lot of time there also. So look, as I said, when we picked this place to come and train, a few people sort of said, "Oh, really? Why would you come there? Wouldn't it be better at a city track or possibly the Gold Coast, etc.?" But we chose it because of that. We wanted it as far away from a city environment as we could have. We like horses to relax, and it's a great place. The club do a fantastic job to help us. They're only a small club, and as lots of country tracks, they don't have access to unlimited funds. They have to make it work, and they do a great job. They supply us with perfect training tracks whenever we need them. It wasn't that long ago here that that this whole place went underwater in the biggest flood in history here, and the way that the community got behind everything, not only us, that the whole town suffered in that flood. It was a catastrophic incident for some people, and us included. Our stables went underwater. We had, I was in Sydney at the time. I came home to 50 people here that half of them I didn't even know, helping to clean the place up and get it right. And our horses were back working on the track 3 days later after having 3 metres of water over it. Now that in itself, to me, is what inspires more than most to carry on and get up in the morning and make it work and make it happen. Those sorts of things you don't see everywhere, and certainly this place, not only the club but the community, everybody's got behind the stable. We employ 25 staff here now, and it's great when someone in the street actually recognises what we do. They'll pull you up and say, you're doing a great job, and that doesn't seem like a lot to some people, but to me it is. It's very heartwarming, and it's certainly something that we do appreciate, and as I said, it's a wonderful place to be. Yes, Nitz is a progressive horse. He's coming off a last start win in Brisbane. He's certainly a horse that's improving as he goes along, and an ideal candidate. Iggy the Moocher, he's a horse he's been with me for a little while. He's only had one start for me. I've had him for quite a while now. He's certainly a handsome looking rooster. He's got a lovely big white mane and tail, and a magnificent horse to look at. Look, again, he's an on-speed runner, and that certainly will be suited by track conditions that we normally encounter at Grafton on a heat day. Lifesaver, he's lightly raced. We've looked after him right through his career. He's a horse that's taken a little while to mature properly. His run last start in Brisbane was outstanding. He came from an impossible position in sectionals that were incredible to flash home and run second. And again, he's a horse that we've set for this race or the heat and the hopefully the final, and he fits in really well. Country racing's in a really good spot at the moment, as is racing in general.